the question of whether or not European countries spy on the United States. I mean, that's an interesting question and a complex question. If you consider that just before the Second World War ended, the United States recruited agents, spies from the Nazi intelligence network into the CIA, which came after the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, then one can see that from the very beginning, at least as far as Germany and the United States were concerned, they worked together. They worked together with the people that they were fighting, that they were trying to defeat. The whole war was waged against the Nazi regime by the Western powers, by the Allied forces, and we see at the end of the war there was this hypocritical move of the United States recruiting the very people that had enslaved most of Europe into their intelligence services. So there's been a cooperation among the intelligence services of the United States and Western European countries. Consider the fact that after the Second World War, that France wanted to reclaim its colonies in Southeast Asia. And so they did that with the help of the United States, with their military and intelligence resources to ensure that the French would regain and maintain their colonies, specifically in Southeast Asia. Now we all know that they were defeated at Dien Bien Phu, and all of their efforts were for naught in that case. But in the two cases of the one of the United States aiding the French in the recapturing of the resources and colonies in Southeast Asia, and also the recruiting of Nazi agents into the infantry of the CIA, we see there was this cooperation. So the question of whether or not the European country was spying on the U.S., we had Europeans within the intelligence community, the intelligence apparatus of the United States from the very beginning. So people were working hand in hand. Now, that's not to say that all of these countries don't have their own particular interests, and where that comes into play, certainly there's this possibility and the likelihood that there's spying going on. They're spying on each other all the time, because that's just the nature of the beast. And in terms of the effect that this whole scandal might have on European nations, it's not so much a question of what the effect is going to have on the relationships between the governments of these particular nations, because they all understand full well that they're spying on each other. That's a given. Whether it's military spying or whether it's, economic spying, whatever that is, these things occur for them all the time. For the President Obama to say, well, I'm spying, you're spying on me so I can spy on you. This is a very nefarious and evil game that's being played here, So that's really no excuse. That gives them no right to spy on me. That gives them I haven't given no one any permission to listen to my phone call conversations, to read my correspondence, just to invade my privacy. I never gave anybody that permission. And most of the Europeans, if we talk about what effect it's going to have on the relationships, it's more a question of what the people of these nations how they're going to react to that. And I think that we're seeing now that they're very angry. The people are not the politicians necessarily, because they're just posturing. But they have to put on a show for the people that they represent. But the people they represent are definitely not happy with this situation.